I am super excited to get this started. This is like my fourth, fifth, sixth, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to get this channel started for so many times, but I'm focused, man. Focus. Focus on the focus. I'm so excited to get on here and start sharing information with you. If you like what you hear and see, I want you to hit the subscribe button. I want you to like it, and I want you to share it with anybody that you think will find this information helpful. So let's get into it. This is a little bit about my transition in teacher story. I'm going to talk to you today about how I got started in teaching way, maybe not way, not that old. You know, back in the day when I came into teaching. So, as Sophia says on the Golden Girls, picture it, Greensboro, North Carolina, 2004, May 6, 2004 to be exact. That is the day that my son Cameron was born. Love you, son, who is almost a full-fledged adult now, but he is a huge part of the reason why I got into teaching in the first place. So, had my son about 8 days before I received my undergraduate degree in communication studies from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, Spartan Pride, and I needed a job because my mom was not about to take care of two of you. You need to get a job. So first lady at my church told me about a teaching position at a middle school out in a small town called Battleboro, North Carolina, which is on the outskirts of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, in Edgecombe County Public Schools, where I am a proud graduate. So went to the interview. I didn't even have anything to wear, because I just had a baby, so my regular clothes didn't fit, and I hadn't bought maternity clothes because I was still a student. I was a senior in college. So the first lady gave me a suit to put on so that I could go to the interview. So I went to the interview, met with the principal, and the principal had a representative from what they used to call an assistance team from the Department of Public Instruction in Raleigh. And guess what, y'all? She too was a Spartan. So your network is your network. Another video for another time. But anyway, needless to say, I went through the interview process and I was hired. And I was so excited. Son and I, not like he did today because he was a baby, but we packed up our things from our apartment in Greensboro and we moved back to Tarboro, back home with my mom and my little brother. And so the story of Miss Long, the teacher, began. So we are now fast forwarding to January of 2005. And I'm going in, I'm 22 and a half years old. No idea what I'm doing because, again, my degree is in communication studies. So I do public relations, do a little bit of marketing, stuff like that. But nothing about delivering instruction for adolescents. So anyway, I went in thinking I was going to be teaching 8th grade language arts. But guess what? I didn't. I didn't. Another position opened up, and a person that actually had an English degree was hired. So I became what they call a roving teacher or a long-term sub, where whenever a teacher was absent, I am the first line of defense, and I would go into that classroom and look over the plans, and I would teach whatever it was that teacher had for the day. And if for a wonderful reason there was a substitute, or everybody came to work, which, back then that was a more seasoned staff, so they were coming to work. I was shadowing a veteran teacher who taught 7th grade language arts. And of course, if she was out, I would automatically be her sub. So anyway, semester went on. I fell in love with the profession of teaching. And I said, oh my God, this is where I belong. And I had a wonderful ride for about 4 months. So here we are now at the end of April, at the beginning of May. I'm about to turn 23. My baby's about to be 1. And I get this letter. And the letter says, we regret to inform you that you don't have a license, so you don't have a job for next year. And I am crushed, because nobody told me anything about having to do anything to get a license. And of course I didn't know to ask because I didn't go to school to be a teacher, so I had no idea. So it's the summer of 2005. I'm back at home. I have no money and no job because I had only worked for 5 months. And back then, school ended at Memorial Day weekend. So June, July, I'm sitting at home like bored to tears, thinking, oh my God, am I gonna have to go back to being a manager at McDonald's? I did not go to college to come back home and go back to the job I had when I was 17. So anyway, I started, looking for jobs, and I stumbled on this interview at another middle school on the southern end of the county. Battleboro is the northern end, so I'm on the southern end of the county in a town called Pine Tops, North Carolina. And I met a principal who is my mentor to this very day. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in another story. But they told me that I needed to pass the praxis in order to become a teacher. So I was like, okay, what's the praxis? And so I did a little research. With no Google back then, it was just, going Internet Explorer or whatever it was. But I think Yahoo was big back then. Yes, it was, because I had a Yahoo email address. Still got my Yahoo email address. So anyway, did my research, found out about the praxis, and went to ECU, East Carolina University, took that praxis, passed that praxis, first time. And so I was ready to become a teacher. But I had no idea what I was doing. Because remember, I was roving. So I was going over somebody else's lesson plan. Whatever it was that they left for the kids to do, might have been written on the board, might have been a physical piece of paper. Like, that's what I was to do, and I already knew going in that's what I was to do. So now I had to write my own lesson plans. I had to learn about a pacing guide. I had to facilitate the instruction. I had to make my own copies because they're like TAs. Shout out to all the TAs. We're no TAs for middle school teachers unless it was in the exceptional children's department or special education, whatever you call it, wherever you are. And so I'm learning how to make copies and using workbooks and ordering supplies and creating games and activities. And let me tell y'all, I did that. Okay, like I did that. And my partner teacher, because there were two teams, had been teaching at that point for about 30 years, maybe 32. Like, but she had it. And she had the AIG kids, or AG they would call back then, the academically gifted kids, and I didn't. And so apparently, there was some little competition because here I was, this young black girl, I'm in there, and I'm doing activities. We're throwing the ball, and we're getting up, we're being active, we're out of our desk, we're having a good time. And those kids are, sitting there, getting there, trying to figure out what in the world is this girl doing. But guess what? At the end of that year, my scores was like that. Okay. But anyway, so getting into teaching, everything's going okay, and we get to October. And I have my beginning teacher conference with my principal. And the principal was, like, how's everything going in the need? And I was like, sir, I want to do what you do. Because he was respected and people listened. That school was orderly. We were doing well academically. Like, we were on the rise. Like, I want to do that. And so he told me about this principal fellows program because he said, and I'll never forget it, you remind me of me when I was younger. And I'm like, oh my God. So I do my research about this principal fellows program, and guess what? Crushed again. You had to have like a 3-point something GPA to get in, and y'all, I had a good time when I was in college, but my grades didn't look like it. I graduated with a 2.52. Yes, that's 2.52, like where I'm from, 2.52. And so I didn't qualify for that program. And I learned I had to take courses to get my teaching license. I had already passed the practice, so I'm thinking I'm good. Wrong. Wrong. I had to go back and take some classes. So I enrolled and I take my classes, community college, on what their version of online back then, and going and doing whatever I needed to take my classes. We had like a whole little list, like an audit sheet like you have when you graduate from undergrad, of classes that I had to take to go along with the classes I did take in undergrad in order to get my license cleared. So I'm doing that. And at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, if I couldn't get in this door, I'm going to find another door. And so another door was getting into graduate school and getting a master's in school administration. But even for that, you had to teach for 3 years. So I'm like, barrier after barrier after barrier. But guess what? I was an outstanding teacher. And so, what is going on here? So anyway, I was an outstanding teacher, and I just kept going, right? So, long story short, because I don't want to bore you with my information, I ended up finishing up my coursework, received my license, and got accepted into graduate school in the fall of 2008. And I started working on my master's degree in school administration, and I had this plan. I was going to be an assistant principal, and then a principal, and I was going to be the first black female superintendent in Edgecombe County. Like, I was ready to take the world by storm. Crushed again. But all that to say, in the first 10 months, first 5 months at the first school, little summer hiatus, which teachers don't work in the summer usually, they're not at the school, and going back into the classroom by October. So I went from graduating college, didn't know what I was going to do, working for a call center for UPS, whackjob.com, okay? Now you don't even have that position because you just go online and do what you need to do. From doing that, to moving back home, to falling in love with teaching, to not having a job at teaching, to getting back into teaching in the right place at the right time where I belong. And there set the trajectory. And where I spent 5 years, 5 wonderful years I will never forget, 2005 to 2010 as a classroom teacher. And that's when I began the trajectory to exiting the classroom. So I hope that I shared something with you that was funny, that inspired you, that gave you hope, that you can have a plan and you can get derailed so many times, but if you persevere, you will win. So thank you for tuning into my channel. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can share this information with somebody else who is a transitioning teacher. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to the Saavy Shae Show. Y'all be good.